Hi, Deborah Hallam here from Unfurl. It's been a while since I have stopped to have a chat in person, and so hello, and I hope this finds you well, and if not, then I hope that something I can share today can inspire you in some way and perhaps provide something for consideration. I am one of 7 authors who channeled a chapter for this book, which has come out into the world this year, just in time, it feels like, to help humanity. And in this book you will find in every chapter each person has explored 14 topics, so you can explore a topic 7 times and have 7 different perspectives and see if there is something that is resonant for you. If you are working through something like grief or loneliness, or today I'm going to be leaning into information overload. So when I was channeling my chapter, every time I connected in and wisdom was shared with me to record, I felt always this really deep sense of empowerment, almost as if the energies around us are saying, you've got this, you can do this, go for it, we've got you, we've got your back. And so I just want to start by sharing a definition of what empowerment is from the internet, from perhaps Merriam-Webster dictionaries or somewhere like that, where empowerment is the process of gaining freedom and power to do what you want or to control what happens to you. That's what empowerment is. Now that sense of freedom that comes from empowerment and doing what you want and controlling what happens to you, obviously with the caveat that you're not doing what you want and stomping all over all the human beings around you and having no consideration for them. But this is really, I guess, putting yourself and your own needs first, just like we all get told in a plane, put your own oxygen mask on first and then you can help others. Same kind of concept. And so that mantra of freedom has been a really big one that has played out through my entire life and has informed a lot of decisions and actions that I've taken for myself to continuously feel into that sense of liberation and of not being put in a box by someone else, or even noticing if I'm putting myself in a box and I'm starting to feel stifled. So that definition of empowerment and having control over what happens to you. So a lot of people at the moment would say, well, what right do I have to feel empowered? Because empowerment actually isn't fear. Empowerment is someone who feels like they have the reins of their life. But what right do we have when so many people are suffering? And that I know that's a response out in the collective energy. What right do I have to feel empowered or happy or anything else other than fearful and sad and disappointed and scared because there is so much misery on this planet? Now, there's always been misery on this planet. And in the chapter that I channeled of this book, there is a topic called information overload. And I'll just read a couple of words from this chapter. This is from Spirit. Your inner light constantly pulses your frequency out across the field of all that is. And just like a transmission tower, you are in a constant state of being receptive to the frequencies around you. So we're receiving frequencies and sending frequencies all the time. And therefore, please consider carefully what you tune into. Ask yourself at each time, is this going to be of some benefit for my highest timeline? Does this feel like input from a frequency that is benevolent and loving? And there's an invitation in this section about information overload to really become a guardian of our own frequency, and when we do allow input into our frequency, to allow that with discernment and with intention, rather than just feed our frequency with whatever happens to be on around us, or whatever we're scrolling through, or anything really, from any possible form of media or thought of your own. So I do believe that we're all connected, and I've had plenty of evidence of this in my life, and I'm sure that you might be able to relate to some of this too. You know, how many times have you rung someone at some point in your life and they've said, "Oh, I was just thinking about you." Or back in the days of landlines, you'd pick up the phone to call someone and they were actually already on the line because they had picked up the phone at their end to call you. So distance doesn't seem to matter in this connectedness that we share. You know, we could be calling someone next door, or we could be calling someone in another neighborhood or another country. Yeah? And so I just want to lean on some work by a very amazing neuroscientist. Her name is Jill Bolt Taylor. Now I'm looking at some notes because I didn't want to get any of this information wrong, because Jill's amazing. So Jill is a neuroscientist with a PhD, and she has studied the human brain. But in the early 2000s, she experienced a stroke. And being a neuroscientist, she had an awareness of exactly what was happening for her. Now, one of the really incredible experiences she had was she noticed that she shifted out of her left brain hemisphere and into her right brain hemisphere. And one of the really powerful things that came with that, I mean, there was a multitude of things that she learnt, and I'll put a link below so you can listen to her TED talk. It's fascinating. But one of the things that she became acutely aware of while she was fully experiencing herself from her right brain hemisphere was she became aware of the energy that people would bring into the room when they came in for whatever reason, to visit or whatever. So she would notice whether people came in with fear and worry and concern, or whether people came in with hope. And so as we read in this book about information overload, and we start to get an understanding of the control, the empowerment that we have to control the inputs into our frequency, and understand we also have control over the output that we have, then when we start thinking, well, what right do I have to feel empowered or happy or anything else in a world that is so full of misery, is actually really, really important, because every human being's right brain on the planet is picking up on the consciousness of everyone else. And so if we can use our own empowerment to hold a frequency of hope and of joy and even of empowerment, and transmit that frequency far and wide, then we actually can have an impact, far greater impact than we have on the other side of the world, worrying and being stuck in fear about someone else's misery. So I just want to express how powerful this book is, and what it taught me when I channeled my chapter is immense, and I'll keep chatting about it over time. But it's not just my chapter, there are 6 other chapters to delve into as well, so you can explore 14 of humans' common worries on this planet at the moment, and see if you can step into your own empowerment and your trust in yourself, your intuition, feeling connected and not isolated, and getting out of a state of overwhelm and starting to explore those feelings of thriving. And can you imagine how significant change would be on this planet if everyone's frequency was emitting a frequency of thriving, and everyone else's right brain hemisphere was picking up on the frequency of humans thriving? Wouldn't that be incredible? So I hold hope for that. I'm actually an eternal optimist. I'm very real about what's happening. I'm quite aware about the good and the bad that happens on this planet, but I am enormously optimistic, and I always have been. So if you don't have a copy of this book already, you can get one on Amazon, Amazon UK, Amazon US and Amazon Australia, and you can get them in paperback, and you can get them in ebook form to read on Kindle. And we also have a Facebook group that we have started up, so if you wanted to jump into the group and share the experiences you're having meeting the wisdom that's in this book for these times we're in, then please join us, and let's grow and understand the messages that came through together, and let's thrive. Let's change the world. Let's go big. All right, until next time, bye for now.